Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Choosing Beggar Reddit video. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe and click on notifications so you don't miss out on the fun. In our first story, we have a Choosing Beggar volunteer organization that likes to trick children out of their money. Let's jump right in. Before I say the specific event, I have to give a little background information for it to fall into perspective. The Choosing Beggar and I have some good history. In fact, he is in charge of a tutoring program that helps elementary school kids learn mostly reading and math. I used to volunteer at this program for 2 years, and I always enjoyed it there and loved to do it. Previously, it was fine since I lived fairly close, about a 30-minute drive. Part of what made this work was that Choosing Beggar would allow me to stay at his house, after volunteering on Tuesday all the way until Thursday, where I would then be picked up by my parents. He would provide me food when I stayed over, and I recognized that this was very generous of him. In this program, as stated earlier, I had been there for quite some time and I was essentially the designated math tutor, because everyone else was an adult and struggled with remembering every little insignificant detail with math. There were few other tutors, and aside from potentially Choosing Beggar himself, I think I was the best, and definitely the most consistent one. Unfortunately, due to a job offer, my family moved 2 hours away, making it essentially impossible for me to continue volunteering. Here is where the story starts. Choosing Beggar comes up to my parents and me and offers me a potential job offer. The numbers may not be exact, but they will eventually not be important. He says essentially that they were willing to pay me and make sure that I am able to come so that I can continue to tutor for them. Something along the lines of $40 per week or for the 11 hours or so of work. I know that sounds bad, but do note I was about 14 or 15, so this sounded like I hit the jackpot for something I genuinely enjoyed doing. Eventually, I got my parents reluctantly to agree under these circumstances, so that I could get some job-like experience. As it approaches near to the day, I get informed that Choosing Beggar found a good deal on train tickets so that they could get me 10 rides, one to get there and one to get back, for about $200 instead of the normal $250, which was great for them. The first week arrives, and I eagerly hop onto the train and take a 2-hour ride to reach my destination, where Choosing Beggar would pick me up and take me to the tutoring location. I then stay at Choosing Beggar's house for the night, and we would continue the next day and repeat for Thursday, where I would eventually go back to the train to go home. This is when my parents asked me the question, "When do you get paid?" Which I really had no response to. I realized that Choosing Beggar never talked to me about the specifics of when or how often I got paid. I replied that I wasn't sure, and they told me to figure it out with him when I saw him next. I really didn't want to do that because I knew that Choosing Beggar was going to pay me, and that I just didn't know when yet. When I eventually brought this up to him, he looked at me as if I was crazy and was wondering what I was talking about. He then reminded me that the tickets were $200 for about 5 weeks of travel, and that my $40 a week was what was covering it. I was severely shocked because I understood him saying that the program was going to pay for my travel here and pay me for my work, but as it turned out, I was wrong. I understand that Choosing Beggar and the program were housing me and paying for my tickets, but if that was the case, why did he make it out to be that I was receiving a job offer? If Choosing Beggar brought it up as it was, which was to say he was finding a way to allow me to volunteer my time without having to pay for it, it would have been a different story. Most likely, though, Choosing Beggar knew my parents would not have allowed me to volunteer 3 days of my time at a location 2 hours away without getting paid for it. Story number 2 gives us a Choosing Beggar on a date. Classic example of how to get a free dinner at a fancy restaurant. Okay, so this was not too long ago. I am a 17-year-old female and got asked out on a date by another 19-year-old female. Let's call her Choosing Beggar. And I, of course, said yes. The background: I met this girl on Tinder. We clicked really well, and we even FaceTimed every day for like 2 weeks. The weekend finally turns up where both me and Choosing Beggar were off work. I work extra at a cafe, and she works as a retailer part-time. She then asked me out on a date to a very nice restaurant. This was the end of the month, so I didn't have a lot of money, and my salary would come in about a week. But on that weekend, both me and her worked. I agreed, but had to cancel other plans and ask my mom for a little bit of money to afford to go with her to this dining place. Because we both are female, there was no rule that one of us must pay, so because this was a nice place and this was the first time we would meet each other in real life, we decided that we would pay for our own meals. To the story. We meet up an hour before our reservation. We take a walk, talk, and try to shut down all the nerves, and I am fond of her already. We come to the restaurant, get our table and menus, and start to order. We then proceed to discuss what we want. Well, after 15 minutes, the server comes back and takes our order, or, well, my order. I start and say what I want, the duck, French, blah blah blah. I then look over to her and she says, "Oh, well, I'm not that hungry. I can just taste your duck." I think to myself, what the flip? I mean, I told her beforehand that I didn't have much money, but she said this restaurant was worth every penny. But then she didn't order, and this was the main course? I looked shocked, but since we had a great start on the date, I didn't want to be rude. I mumbled okay, and we continued. The food comes, and I don't even have the time to taste my own food that I will pay for because she takes my plate and cuts the duck and takes a huge bite. I just sat there and thought, what the flip? Like, really, what? I didn't see this coming. This behavior continues. I laugh when she, for the third time, takes my plate that is across from the table where I'm sitting and continues to eat while I'm telling a story. I just say while I chuckle, "Oh, slow down a bit or I won't get any food." I mean, I'm kinda pissed, but this is such a flipping weird situation. The date continues and I really just want to get out of there and go home and watch Netflix by myself. However, before that happens, the server comes again and asks, "So, do you want some dessert?" Choosing Beggar looks at me and I at her. "No, thanks," and once again the duck was super delicious. "But I want dessert." "Okay, you can take dessert if you want." I try to cut down my sugar intake. That's a lie. "Come on, the creme brulee here is superb." "Oh, I shouldn't." "Stop being so stuck up." "What?" The server stands there looking really uncomfortable. "We will take a creme brulee, please." "Okay." "I don't want any." "After you taste this, you sure will." After the dessert comes, Choosing Beggar practically forces me to taste the creme brulee, and yeah, it was very good. However, I did not want to have it because I didn't want to pay for it. The check comes, and guess what? I have to pay because Choosing Beggar thought that I ate most of the duck and dessert. Flip you, Choosing Beggar. Story 3 shows us the brilliant Choosing Beggar looking for a tattoo. If there is one thing you definitely want to save money on, it is something that will be permanently on your body. Genius. I need a master tattoo artist. I really want to start on my sleeve. Think I want to do a half sleeve first and then go to a full sleeve, but I need someone talented as Flip because I don't have a piece to show. I have ideas in my notes and I want someone to freehand my ideas, then combine the art into a sleeve. If you have a tat artist who can freehand, please let me know. Don't give me someone who will tax the stuff out of me, please, because I will find someone else. I'm thinking like $500 max. I don't care how y'all feel about the price. My arm is literally the size of a stick, so whoever does it doesn't even need a ton of ink. Help me find someone good so I can keep going back and keep putting bread in their pockets, please. And thanks. In our final story, a choosing beggar is offered a computer to use. But why would he accept that when he could try for the brand new computer? People usually buy new computers to lend to their friends, right? I think that's how it works. I recently got a new laptop and I love it a lot. It replaced my old Toshiba laptop from 2011 to 2012. Because of COVID-19, there are only online classes, and my friend does not have the sufficient technology to participate in the online classes. I was FaceTiming him and we were talking about school being cancelled and online classes starting. I brought up my old laptop. Below is how the conversation went. "You can borrow my old laptop." "That Toshiba?" "Yeah, it's not the best, but it works for Google Classroom and Docs." "That thing is stuff. Why can't I have your new laptop?" "Because I need that. I offered you my old laptop, not my new one." "You have your big PC. That one is good enough." "Yes, I do. But I don't trust people with my new laptop, and I need to use that if I go anywhere and can't bring my PC." "I thought we were friends. Friends help each other. You're a rich kid." "I hate being called that because I'm not. I just work for the stuff I want." "I'm trying to help you, but you clearly don't want it. And I don't want to give it to you anymore." I hung up the FaceTime and ignored all his text. He is a nice guy, but can be a butthole sometimes. This has been John from /bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then please hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.